Hello and welcome back. In this video, we want to take a look at setting the static IPv4 and IPv6 settings to your ESXi server. So I've got them bulleted here. This would be what we're after. It's a project assignment in Canvas. So what I've got here on this is I've got these are the actual paths to when you're in your server. This is actually the path that will follow to get to where these settings are. And I'll demonstrate this for you. So we're going to set a static IPv4 and IPv6 address, and we're also going to set host name, domain name, DNS servers, and so on. And this is the path that's set to those. So it's done in two different places. There's also two different ways to do it, and I want to show you both of those. So let's get started with that. So I'm over here on my server A18, and this is one of the ways to do it. So we boot the server and it comes up to something like this. The way that we work with the networking settings is we go to over here on the left, we go to networking. If by chance this is collapsed like that, then you just click on it and it'll expand. But you come down here to networking, and we're going to be looking at both of these. We're going to be looking at the VM kernel NIC and TCP/IP stacks. The reference to VM kernel NIC, that's the network card that's used to actually talk to the operating system. Okay. We can then have other network cards that are then used for the virtual machines. So in VMware and in Hyper-V, you separate that out. You've got the network card that's used to actually talk to the virtualization platform. And in VMware, that's referred to as the VM kernel NIC. And then you have other network adapters that are attached to other networks that are then used by the virtual machines. Okay. So on this one here, under the VM kernel NIC, we go to VMK0. That's the identity given to the network card. It's happened to be the first detected network card. We go to it. You can see a lot of cool stuff here. You go to it and you go to settings. Right now it's set to DHCP. And it's working okay, but we need to set it to static and we need to fill in some values. Now you think, well, where do I get those values? Those values are provided on a handout, a PDF. There's a copy in Canvas, and you find yourself in the list here. And I know these handouts look really busy, but sometimes you just have to like step back and think about what do I need? Well, you're going to need the IPv4 setting for your server. Okay. Now you're setting this on your server, which is inside of the network, and so you are going to be setting for IPv4. You're going to be setting this value. IPv6 values are over here. This will come up in another project where you'll need that. Here you've got your gateway values. Here you've got your DNS. All right, could use my pen here. So you're going to need these values. Now these, of course, are for IPv4. And then these over here are for IPv6, and your host name is over here, domain name, bobstaco.com. So it's all there. It's all there. Yours is mixed among everybody else's, so you'll need to find yours and use them. To help you with this, let's take a look at, these are the screenshots that you're going to submit for grading, and these will help you. So you go to where we were on your server, and you go to we were in the console there, and you go to networking and you go to VM kernel NIC and you go to edit and you go to settings, and this is one of them. You're going to fill in a lot of the information here, and your values will just be different. Like I'm on ESXi 18, you're on ESXi 05, 06, 07. Okay, DNS servers will be the same for both of us. This got cut off, but there is more there, and that's also FF1::230. These will be the same for all of us. If we look at the other picture, here's some other values here. Okay, we switch it to say IPv4 and 6. Here's our static addresses. One tip here, and that's, I'll show you this also on your actual server, is, let's just go do it. What I'm talking about is when you add your IPv6 address, because there are going to be a couple of addresses that are already there. Let's go look at that. I expanded here. These addresses are already there. And what I'm going to ask you to do is these are auto generated. These two, actually, all three of them are. They're auto generated by IPv6. Let's leave those alone and just go to click Add and add yours to this list. In projects past, I've asked students to kind of clean it up and just leave FE80, but these all have value, so leave them there and click Add, and then add the value off of the handout.